Higgs has been a tier 1 pro on NA Central for years now, but since Chapter 7 started, he's been the best player in the region. While a lot of top players haven't been grinding as hard this season, Higgs has done the opposite. He's locked in for every victory cup, IGLing at the highest level with cliques and duos where they consistently finish in the top 3, and most recently placing second in the $1 million Unreal Cup. But how exactly is he doing it? In this first example, Higgs uses some unorthodox strategies to win this fight. To start the engagement, Higgs wingsuits in and almost pieces the opponent. He ends up trading and gets hit hard because he thought the opponent was on the opposite side of the stair and goes to heal. He pops a slurp and makes an interesting play where he runs out of the box while the slurp is active and boxes up closer to the opponent. This does a couple of things for Higgs. First, he is able to listen closely and look through new builds to see what heals the opponent is using to give him more info on how much HP he has. He is also able to contain the fight a lot by doing this. By being at a lower elevation and closer to the opponent and fully boxed in, he is at much lower risk of being third-partied in this fight. Lastly, this puts him in a box fighting situation which he is really strong in, and his zero ping advantage can help him greatly here. When he gets back to full HP, the opponent starts spraying his stair to try and take it, so Higgs edits the stair, making it tougher to shoot him for the opponent, and starts shooting the wall from a position where the opponent can't see him. This is a really clever peek in this situation, as the opponent would have to swing hard right to hit him, to where Higgs can react in time. He then takes the wall, re-edits his stair to give himself a right-hand angle, and quickly takes the freshly re-edited brick wall. Something that really strong box fighters will do is identify when walls are going to be low HP when they are re-edited to quickly take it and catch the opponent off guard. He then pieces the opponent and pumps him, but the opponent is able to retake the wall and get out. Higgs changes his angle of attack and tries to phase in with no luck. He tries to break in again, and a third party tries to shoot him, but he does a good job of covering himself. He sprays the third party to get his attention and then relocates to put his opponent between him and the third partier. He made a really smart advantage here, where the opponent now has to worry about getting shot in the back because he got the third partier's attention and he can pressure the opposite side safely. He gets caught in the opponent's piece, and while this isn't optimal, he hits him for a double 6-7. Sorry guys. Something that is important to note is that Higgs was playing less safe due to his health advantage, and sometimes even good players will end up in your opponent's piece. He makes the correct play though, which is to shoot his shotgun and instantly sprint randomly in his box. In a situation like this, it can be really difficult to shoot a sprinting opponent who is moving randomly up close, because you have to flick your shotgun so hard to hit them. Most Fortnite aiming is more about crosshair placement and aiming on more stationary targets, with the opponent having more predictable movement, so a lot of players aren't prepared to shoot sporadic targets like this, as we can see here as Higgs only gets hit for 46. He then finishes the fight by calling out the opponent's counter peek and keeping his gun out, as any trade would be in his favor. Him boxing up to heal near the opponent and sprint shooting to get out of a bad situation are both unorthodox strategies that allow Higgs to get an advantage in this fight. And another unorthodox strategy he uses very often is how much he looks for chops. Chopping has been in the game forever, but Higgs uses it constantly in fights to try and catch the opponent off guard. In this example, Higgs tries to go for tops on the opponent and gets counter-peeked hard as his pressure was a little unsafe. The opponent hit him hard and didn't pressure, so Higgs realizes his opponent is very likely to be pretty passive. After healing up, he instantly drops down and creates almost a little chop base and starts breaking the opponent's base. While the opponent has time to react to the chop, Higgs is playing it from a safe position where if the opponent jumps out, he can react and easily pump or piece him. He then starts to break the builds and actually expands below the opponent to try and create an area where the opponent would land and wouldn't be able to build to protect himself before fully breaking all of the builds. His plan works. He gets a pump and easily pieces the opponent due to him expanding on the bottom layer and finishes the fight quickly. Even though this opponent should have reacted to the chop earlier, Higgs still would have been in a strong position to make a play on the opponent even if they just reboxed or jumped down. This play either forced the opponent to move, which Higgs would take advantage of since he wouldn't be in his fully built hard mat boxes, or be chopped and die as we see here. Here is another example of a chop to quickly finish a fight for Higgs. He starts the fight off by wingsuiting in and slide pumping the opponent. He awareness checks the opponent by wingsuiting into the hill where the opponent can't see him and revealing himself mid-slide when he is not in the wingsuit animation and pumping the opponent. He then builds a wood wall after shooting, which the opponent builds off of, and quickly edits and chops the builds to easily finish off the fight. Chopping is a strat more people should look out for in these fights, as while it hasn't gone out of style necessarily as people still do it, it's not used or looked for as often and can lead to quick easy kills like in this example. One more example of Higgs using a chop. The opponent is based up with only a wood floor connecting, which is A, a sign of a bad player, B, more common than you would think if you look for it, and C, a fight you should always take. A quick note though in this situation is that when Higgs chops, he places a front wall and does a top row edit quickly so the opponent can't build a wall, making it awkward for them. This quick detail can be the difference between whether you hit hit the opponent or not, as it gives a second more to react where the opponent is falling and not able to cover themselves with a wall. He hits him again for 46 and the opponent gets out, where Higgs follows him knowing he is weak, and reads the opponent is going to do a 180, and slides his stair in to set up his own piece control, and ends the fight by coning and wide editing on the opponent. In the next fight here, Higgs confidently pushes two players fighting to third party them, and goes for a pump pickaxe to break the freshly built wood wall, but the opponent relocates. Higgs follows the opponent and drops down, but gets shotgunned in the back. Instead of panicking and flicking his mouse around, he calmly edits his stair to cover his back and keeps moving. This way, he is able to keep his momentum and relocate quicker, and spinning around and taking the wall might have put him at risk of being pieced with the opponent pushing quickly. He pops a slurp and goes to hit the opponent's wall. Higgs then starts getting shot at and protects himself, which the opponent takes as a sign of vulnerability. Higgs knows the opponent is more likely to pressure him now and expects the opponent to open up his edit, which he does do. Higgs then simply single pickaxes the wall and pumps the opponent to catch him off guard and quickly finishes the fight. An issue a lot of players have is that they try and take every wall, which can often give the opponent more time to react and edit out. Higgs knew the opponent wouldn't be ready for him to push here, so the single pickaxe swing to pump lets him hit the opponent quicker than taking and editing a wall. Higgs made a strong read on what the opponent would expect, and knowing what your opponent is thinking and going to make a read on it is what separates good from great players in 2025. In the next fight, Higgs lands on top of the box and notices the opponent opened his wall and reset it, so he goes for a single pickaxe swing to take the wall, but the opponent moves. Higgs then makes it look like he is going to be editing around the opponent's box, causing the opponent to open their wall looking for a shot, but Higgs stops on a dime to pre-fire the opponent and reset his wall quickly. Higgs gets shot in the back, so instead of pressuring the opponent from different angles outside of his box, he decides to get in quickly and uses his AR to set up a single pickaxe wall hit to get into his opponent's box. I'm sure you're noticing how often he does this. He then quickly takes the cone as the opponent is trying to escape and ends the fight. Similar to the last fight, he covers himself quickly when he gets shot by the opponent, and since he still has an HP advantage, he tries to quickly get in and surprise the opponent, who probably thinks he's in the clear of getting pushed. Higgs always keeps his calm with these third parties, and uses them to his advantage either by pinching the opponent or using it to surprise them, and this is a super important skill this season, since everyone and their mother is looking to beam you from 100 meters away with the Deadeye AR. I know I said the Deadeye and the Enforcer are pretty balanced and around the same level in my what's good and bad video of chapter 7, but I was wrong. Epic, please nerf the Deadeye AR or make it bullet drop or something. It's non-stop third parties. In this fight, Higgs is W king in the endgame and gets beamed from third partiers. He gets cracked and goes to heal, and the opponent tries to push him. Higgs realizes that the opponent is probably going to push pretty aggressively here, so he gets himself on the other side of the opponent and the third partiers, and is able to do counter damage to the opponent. Because the opponent was looking for a quick trade to finish off the fight and then got distracted by the third partiers, Higgs knew this would be a perfect time for a counter peek. Since the opponent played this way and aggressively tried to jump in on Higgs, Higgs backs himself here to make a safe peek since the opponent jumped into his builds, and quickly finishes off the fight. Lastly, I just thought I would show one more kill showing how primed Higgs has been this season. For his 23rd kill this game, he edit courses to scare the opponent off of height in endgame, drops on him for a quick 46 tag, and then edit courses to the other side of the ramp and full clips him. Not a ton to learn from this one, as it is just Higgs fully edit coursing a tournament lobby on 22 kills, but I thought it was worth sharing. As you can see, Higgs is really good about using third partiers to his advantage in fights, and he uses them to surprise his opponents, and sometimes will try and get their attention to have them pressure his opponent. He's also really mechanically gifted, and he has great awareness, allowing him to consistently chop players for easy kills. And a lot of this is why people have been saying that Higgs has been the best player on NA this season. I am really excited to see if him and Clix's grinding this season pays off, and they end up ahead of other teams for the first major of the year. If you're curious about another player people think will take the throne from Peterbot, click the video on screen about Shark.